You know that moment when everything felt so alive with her. The way her eyes lit up when you texted. The way she leaned in when you spoke, as if she couldn't get enough of your energy. It's like you could feel her wanting more of you, craving your presence, waiting for your next move. And then, one day, something shifts, quietly, almost invisibly at first. Her replies get shorter. She takes longer to respond. The energy that once felt warm now feels flat, like she's there, but not really. You sense it before you can explain it, a tightening in your chest, a restless need to fix something you don't fully understand. That's when the panic begins to whisper in your mind. Did you say something wrong? Did you not say enough? Should you call her, text her, show up with flowers, send her a long message explaining how much you care? Your mind replays every conversation, analyzing her words, her tone, her emojis, looking for signs of where you lost her. This is the place where most men break their own power. This is where they trade their calm for chaos, their groundedness for desperation. All because they don't realize this moment isn't a random punishment from the universe. It's a silent test of who you truly are beneath the surface. She isn't even fully conscious she's testing you, but her feminine energy is drawn to the question, is he really the man I thought he was? Or is he just another man who crumbles when I take a step back? Most men fail because they react, they chase, they beg. They try to prove themselves, thinking that will bring her back. They lose themselves in trying to keep her, not realizing that what keeps her is the very presence they abandon when they start panicking. If you can hold your ground, let the silence be, and not flinch, you become the man who remains strong even when things feel uncertain. And that is exactly what draws her back. It's easy to think that her pulling back is about you suddenly becoming boring, but it's deeper than that. It's about the energy you give off when you become too predictable, too available, too easy to access. In the beginning, you had a life, you had hobbies, goals, and your time was naturally scarce because you were genuinely invested in your own path. You weren't sitting around waiting for her messages, planning your day around when she would call or text. You were in your purpose, living fully, and that created a pull without you even trying. That's what made her feel drawn to you, because you weren't placing her at the center of your world, and she could feel the natural tension of wanting to be a part of your mission. But what happens with many men is, once they get her attention, they drop everything else. They stop pursuing the gym, their projects, their friendships, the things that made them magnetic in the first place. They replace the healthy tension of life with the comfort of constant availability, thinking that will deepen her connection, but it often does the opposite. She feels the shift before you even realize it. She feels that you're no longer evolving, that you're no longer dynamic, that your world now revolves around her, and she starts to step back. Not always consciously, but her feminine energy seeks to feel your edge again. It's not that she wants you to play games or to ignore her, but she wants to feel that you still have a backbone, that you're still the man who had something she wanted to lean into. When you become fully predictable, the mystery dies, the tension fades, and she stops leaning forward. Attraction isn't about constant closeness. It's about the dance between closeness and space, certainty and curiosity. If she knows exactly what you'll say, what you'll do, how you'll feel, the movie ends early, and you lose the edge that made you unforgettable in the first place. When she goes quiet, it's one of the hardest things for a man to sit with. The silence feels heavy, like a space you're meant to fill. And every moment without her usual warmth starts to feel like rejection. Your mind screams at you to do something, to reach out, to fix it, to bring back the connection you're used to having with her. But what most men don't understand is that her silence is not always meant to push you away. It is often a moment that reveals the depth of who you really are. When she goes quiet, she's not always testing you intentionally, but it is a test nonetheless. It's a mirror reflecting whether your confidence and energy are rooted in your own presence, or if they collapse without her attention. Most men rush to fill the silence because they are terrified of what it feels like when her energy isn't there to reassure them. They send long texts, they call too often, they ask if she's okay, trying to pull her back into comfort, not realizing that in that desperation, they reveal that their emotional stability was tied to her constant validation. What a strong man does instead is pause. He breathes through the discomfort of her silence and uses it as a moment to ground deeper into his own purpose and presence. He doesn't ignore her or punish her, but he doesn't rush to prove himself either. He lets her feel the space she created, and in that space, she gets to feel the weight of his calm. She gets to see that his emotional world does not crumble when she steps back, that his strength isn't conditional on her energy. Silence reveals who is truly confident, who truly leads his own life, and who remains in control of his emotions. This calm, non-reactive energy doesn't push her away. It pulls her back, because a woman will always remember the man who could stay steady when she went quiet, the man who didn't flinch, the man who stayed rooted in himself while she figured out her feelings. That presence becomes the quiet reminder of the strength she's drawn to and the stability she can trust. The way you respond when she pulls away says more about you than any words you could ever speak to her. In those moments when her energy changes, when her replies get shorter, when she becomes distant, your reaction becomes your true message. Most men, without realizing it, start revealing what they value the most, and often, it's not their standards or their peace, it's her validation. They begin chasing, over-explaining, sending paragraph texts about how they feel, trying to prove their worth, not realizing that this frantic energy is exactly what kills her attraction. It shows her that her temporary distance has complete control over your emotional world, that your confidence was only alive when she was pouring attention into you, and now that she's pulled it back, you crumble. But a man who knows his value doesn't react this way. He doesn't get cold or play childish games, but he doesn't betray himself by abandoning his composure either. Instead, he maintains a quiet strength, staying present in his life, showing through his energy that he values his self-respect and peace above the temporary discomfort of her distance. Women don't test to manipulate. They test to feel the truth of your core. They test to see if the man they were drawn to is still there, or if he will trade his grounded presence for the chance to keep her close. It's not about ignoring her. It's about not abandoning yourself. When you remain calm, steady, and focused on your mission, you give her the space to miss you, to feel your absence, to reflect on her own feelings. And in that space, she often realizes that the man she's drawn to isn't the one who needs her validation to feel okay, but the one who values himself enough to hold his frame, even when things feel uncertain. That presence, that quiet, unshakable energy, is what truly separates the man she respects from the man she forgets. Distance is not the end. It is often the necessary space where true polarity is restored in a connection. Every magnetic relationship needs polarity, the tension between your masculine energy and her feminine energy that creates desire and flow. But when she pulls back, and you respond by chasing, over-explaining, or trying to fix things immediately, you collapse that polarity without realizing it. You step out of your grounded masculine frame and into a needy, reactive state, placing the weight of your emotions onto her, making her feel like she now has to lead, reassure, and hold the direction of the relationship. This is the opposite of what she truly wants, even if she doesn't say it outright. She wants to feel your strength, your certainty, your calm leadership, especially when things feel uncertain. When you over-pursue, you rob her of the natural dance of attraction, the tension that creates curiosity and keeps the connection alive. But when you learn to pull back with grace, not as punishment, but as a way to reset the energy, everything shifts. She feels your calm distance and starts to lean back into her feminine, remembering what it felt like when she was drawn to you. Because you were centered and focused on your purpose, she feels the absence of your chasing energy and starts to miss your presence, your energy, your strength. This is not about playing games or manipulation. It's about understanding that women feel most safe and attracted when they can relax into their feminine while you remain in your masculine frame. When you stop reacting to every emotional shift she has and instead hold your ground, you give her the space to feel the depth of who you are. You remind her why she was drawn to you in the first place, not because you were always there seeking her approval, but because you were living fully, purposefully, with standards and self-respect that no momentary pullback could shake. This is how you keep the dance alive, how you maintain the polarity that makes you unforgettable, and how you ensure that distance becomes a tool that strengthens the connection rather than something that destroys it.